Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is giving cyber goth. What do you feel about the blue? Okay, welcome back to my channel, guys. Welcome back to my first consistent upload in a long time. So today I said we're gonna do a book haul. That's happening today. Got a lot to go through, like a lot. So I will try to explain things. These are all the books that I've gotten from my birthday in September to Christmas, and they are all within the horror genre. Oh, if you also want, I do leave little reviews and I love getting recommendations from you guys. I do have a Goodreads. I will link it below in the description, and you can go over there and I want to read your reviews too and see what horror books you find and thriller and all that fun stuff. Okay, let's get going. Good strong start. Okay, this is by Eric LaRocca. This is Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. This is actually a little anthology, a short anthology. There's 3 stories in it. The first one is about 2 lonely girls who end up in an internet chat room. They egg each other on, they succumb to the horrors. The second one is about parents that isolate themselves on an island to get over their son's death, and then a mysterious boy knocks on their door. And then the third one is about a guy who confronts his neighbor about something that he sees in his backyard, and that is also spooky. I've heard really great things about this, nothing but positive reviews. I cannot wait to read this. It's been a long time since I've read an actual good anthology horror. Moving on. Okay. Where do we go from here? Okay, here is 3 books. I think there is 4 books in this series. First book is A Touch of Darkness. These are technically romance, but I'm including them here because I feel like people that read horror could also like this. This is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and if you like dark stuff like me, you probably like Hades and Persephone, or are a fan of Greek mythology, or any sort of that historical context stuff. It's a touch of malice and a touch of ruin. I don't remember which one comes next, but I did get all 3 for Christmas from my best friend. I think there's one more out. I might wait until that last one comes out to read this so that I can just kind of binge through it, because I have a feeling that that's all I'm gonna be doing, binging through this one. This is another little series. I guess I can cover this. All my books are falling. Great, okay, here's another series. This one's not horror, but I've heard so many amazing things about this. This is gonna be I'll probably start reading this in the middle of February, to be honest. I'm almost to this on my TBR. These are the Inheritance Game books. I love them. The design's really cool. The covers are nice. They look really good on the bookshelf. We love consumerism. The Hawthorne Legacy is the second one. The Final Gambit is the third one. So it's about, I think it's a billionaire that leaves somebody his fortune, and she moves into this house, but all his grandchildren are there as well. And then they kind of think that she's a little sus. They're like, why'd you get his fortune? And then a bunch of stuff happens, and there's 3 books about it. The next book that I have is wild. It's insane. If you remember reading things like Brave New World in 1984 and stuff like that in school, this kind of gives me that vibe. It kind of reminds me of those books. This is by Agustina Batsrika. It is Tender is the Flesh. On a bookshelf with this cover, I'm not a huge fan of the cover. I probably wouldn't just go and pick this up myself. But then I saw a huge display of it and I was like, okay, what's this book about? So this book takes place in a dystopian our world where cannibalism, or the practice of eating humans, is legal. So we follow this gentleman who works at one of these meat processing plants. He's gifted a live specimen, a live female human, to eat. There's definitely some sort of relationship that goes on, and then he kind of has to think about what he does for a job, which is literally cutting people up for people to eat, and then the specimen woman that he's gifted. This is a nightmare, and I'm here for it. Alright, next one is manga. If you know me or have been at my channel, I love manga. I just kind of started really getting into it. I thought that if I started collecting, I would kind of get like obsessed, and because that's what I tend to do with books. I haven't been doing too bad. My number one person that I collect is Junji Ito. I think his books are like a work of art. And then I started collecting a couple smaller ones, but I'm really trying. The ones that I am collecting are like horror staples. Like, you need to read these. If you like anything horror, you need to have these on your shelf. This one is Drifting Classroom by Kazuo Umes. You might not be able to see the cover too well. There you go, but the artwork is insane. Correct me if I'm wrong, there should be 3 volumes of kind of this size. This one here is about a group of or like a school that kind of like disappears, and people are like investigating the disappearance, but the teachers and the students are in this like terrifying other dimension, and they're like in this wasteland, and things happen and people die. This next book, wow, I've heard a lot about. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, because I think about just the synopsis daily. I watch Jordaline. She's also from Canada. She's like a Canadian booktuber. I watch her a lot as well, and she was talking about this book, and every time she talks about it, I'm like, why have I not read this? This one is called Gone to See the Riverman. So there's this girl who is obsessed with a serial killer. Yeah, he was Edmund Cox, who was convicted of butchering more than 20 women. So she becomes like his pen pal, and she's trying to like get close to him, get information. He says, go to this cabin in the woods, retrieve a key, and deliver it to the Riverman. And she does it because she's insane. Definitely, if a serial killer told me to do that, I would do that too. Apparently it's just like a nightmare. This is brutal. That's what people were using to describe it. Brutal. This next book, okay, I'm including it, but I'm not classifying it as horror. I saw somebody's video and they were talking about the most disturbing books that they have ever read, horror and fiction included. So I was like, okay, interesting. I just like different. I love reading about different things and like different perspectives. I like films and, you know, books, media that makes you uncomfortable. That's what I studied in film school. So I stumbled upon this book that somebody was talking about, and I'm like, this is really, really interesting. This is called Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. Pretty innocent cover at first. There's these 2 kind of older siblings, and they've stepped in for this alcoholic, unpresent mother, and they're raising their 3 younger siblings. Because these 2 kind of step into the parental roles, much rather than brother and sister, there starts to become something a little bit like more, and they think about like a relationship beyond that. So yes, there is topics of incest in this book, but the way it tackles it is apparently really interesting. The book's not meant to be like, oh, a love story, a forbidden love. No, this is supposed to be like, this happens, let's talk about it. Let's handle it in a very mature manner. So I appreciate this book. It's meant to make you uncomfortable. All right, the next book that I have, this one is Alex North, The Shadows. Love Alex North. I just read The Whisper Man and loved it. There was one scene that really just stayed with me, when the kid's at the door. That's all I'll say. So I decided to pick this one up. This one is about a person named Crabtree, and he does this like really gruesome, horrendous murder in this small town, and this gentleman remembers such a murder because Crabtree and the victim were the main guy's friends. He has to come back to town to take care of his mother, who has dementia, and he realized when talking to like one of the town sheriffs, that copycat murders have started up again. The Whisper Man, I gave a 5-star too. There was some scenes there that genuinely I still think about to this day. If this is anything like The Whisper Man, I know I'm going to love it. I know there may be better thrillers out there, but the way Alex North wrote The Whisper Man was so just like, the pacing, like Everything flowed so well. I also really liked in The Whisper Man, like the relationship between the grandfather and his son, and then his son and his kid, and just the way that, beautiful, super well done. So this next one is another Junji Ito novel. It's one of the ones that I don't have. It's a little bit different from his other work. This one is called No Longer Human. I believe this work is supposed to represent not only Azumi Dazai's life, but this is like because Dazai committed suicide. He had a lot of like mental issues, anxiety, struggled with a lot, like I said, committed suicide in the end. He kind of left behind this story that people thought was like his own kind of suicide note. So this is Junji Ito's rendition of the story. Although gruesome, and definitely like mental illness is a very real thing, and it's scary to write about because it happens, right? It's a very prevalent part in society right now. So anyway, yeah, that's like me rambling for 10 hours about Junji Ito. Just read it. Just read the book. It's really good. His illustrations are nothing like I've ever seen before, and there's a reason for that, because he's god tier. I really need to speed it up because I'm at like already half an hour and I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this. Okay, here's a little short one. It's a little indigo read. This is called Horror Hotel. The colors, love that. This is really a cute little novella. Like, it's literally so thin. Probably read this in like an hour. This is about a group. It's like a YouTube famous group of people that go into a hotel and secretly film a little YouTube video after dark. They want to like get proof of the paranormal, Zach Bagans style. But then what happened in the hotel room was like a really gruesome murder, and they actually find something in the hotel of that serial killer, and it says they're in over their heads. Spooky. Love the concept. Think this will be a little fun read. Let's do this one. The Deep by Nick Cutter. Okay, I read The Troop. Wow, it was icky. If you are into like body horror or like gruesome, like gore, all the blood, all that stuff, read The Troop by Nick Cutter. I actually picked this one up originally because he lives in Canada and I live in Canada. We don't really have a lot of fun Canadian artists that like write horror, so this was like really exciting for me to pick up. So this one is about about a plague that wipes out a lot of humanity. There's like a substance down in the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, that could potentially heal this disease. There's like a research lab that's set up 8 miles below the surface and to like study this thing that could save humanity, but it goes dark kind of situation. So a few people dive down to see what's going on, and that's also spooky, and things happen aboard that. If it's anything like The Troop, it will probably be bloody. My only warnings on Nick Cutter: animal killing. I guess he does like to go for a little bit of a shock factor, and that can be upsetting to read for some. I kind of knew about it going into the book, so I was prepared to read about it, but I completely understand that his writing might not be for everyone. I have heard that a similar situation like The Troop happens in here with an animal, so just keep that in mind. So this one I heard about, and although I don't really know, I have a general idea of what it's about. Ring Shout by Jelle Clark. I hope that's the name. He is a Black author, so I'm trying to definitely read more people of color's books that they've written. This was like not famous, but a lot of people have read this book in the past and have said amazing things about it. I mean, everybody knows about Birth of a Nation and how big that was, so that kind of goes in that time where Birth of a Nation gets the white people and they're like, we are gonna be racist, and I'm like, let's not do that. So there is a couple like resistance fighters and these hell fighters, and they're armed, and with the description it says, send the Klan's demons straight to hell. The little tagline is, in America, demons wear white hoods. So I don't know if this is them hunting members of the KKK or them hunting members of the KKK, but the KKK are also demons. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, that they're actually like demons. Either way, if demons or not, this is going to be a fantastic read. It is another short read. I'm looking forward to reading this. All right, here is the next one. This is the Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Grady Hendrix is a god. My favorite so far has been Horror Store. I know people call that mid. I really liked it. I think it's funny. I thought it was actually hilarious. So this one is about somebody that like survived a real life massacre. She meets with like 5 other girls, I think, that have also survived like other things as well. And then people start to die in their circle as well. So I think like one woman misses a meeting, for example, and they're like, oh, okay, so I guess this is like the final of the final girl. Who is the final girl of the final girls? Oh, I'm excited for this one. This is Slewfoot by Brahm. Look at this. I love this. Wow. Everything about this book is gorgeous. I've heard like everyone 5-star. This is a 5-star read. Everybody has told me that. I'm like, okay, I believe you. People have been comparing this to A24 films, which I can't stand that film, so I'm praying that the book is better than the movie, because the movie sucked. So Slewfoot is a demon. Then we have Abatha. She's a widowed outcast, and she's alone and vulnerable in this village, and she goes to Slewfoot for help, and they ignite this battle and threaten a village. It's a tale of bewitchery. There's a little quote here: if it's the devil you seek, then it is the devil that you shall have. Love that. I think this is just gonna be like a classic witch story. I'm all for that. I do like my atmospheric books, like I said. Hope it's better than The Witch. We have Hide. This is by Kirsten White. I've heard mixed reviews about it. People have gone into it saying they were like expecting something else. So I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. So it's like a challenge. You spend the week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. So it's like hide and seek. There's a prize and it's a bunch of money. People start disappearing in the park one by one, and it's probably like last person standing wins. That's how I'm kind of thinking about it. But it's just probably like a fun slasher. I don't know, like it reminds me of like an escape room book, but it's just in an amusement park. I love amusement park books. Amusement parks are scary, and I like the atmosphere of them. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This has taken book talk by storm. This is about a popular girl who was murdered by her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend then killed himself. There's a girl named Pip who like thinks that there's more to the story kind of situation. So she like re-examines the case and might actually prove that the boyfriend's innocent, and then there's like a whole other murder plot that comes out. So it's like an investigative thriller as well as it is a horror. It is a YA, so I don't think it's going to be as bloody as Nick Cutter, but cautiously optimistic. This is The Fervor by Elma Katsu. I read The Hunger. I loved it. I did give it a 4-star. Is it like weird that I actually kind of wanted a little bit more cannibalism in that one? That's so bad to say. Anyway, I did enjoy The Hunger. I liked her historical take. This is very similar. She likes to do her historical horror. Fervor takes place in 1944 during World War II. So a daughter and mother are taken to an internment camp. And while they're living in the camp, so they're Japanese American, even though they're American because they're Japanese presenting heritage, they get put in these internment camps. And then a disease starts to spread within the internment camps. There's like investigation that goes into the disease that has spread, but like doctors come in, there's like a research lab. I don't know if this is gonna come out to be like a government spread this disease or more of like a Japanese yokai. Well, I'm not sure. I don't know much about this book. I haven't really heard people like review it yet, so here we go guys. Almost done. Okay, this one here, this is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It's another Grady Hendrix book. I need to read more Grady Hendrix. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I should be reading him all the time. He's such a... And How to Sell Your Haunted House just came out. I heard so much about that. I need to pick that up too. What am I doing? So this is about a lady. Her husband's a workaholic, so she like drowns herself in this book club. Through her book club, she meets this like handsome young gentleman, and then people start to go missing in the neighborhood, And I love it here. It says James Harris is more of a Bundy than a Brad Pitt. I love that. I don't know why. It's Grady Hendrix. He makes me laugh. It's great. I think Patricia suspects James is actually the one killing these young girls. James has kind of already wiggled his way into his life. This next one, it's an older one. This one is The Dead Girls of Asteria Hall by Katie Alander. I've always wanted to read this book, but I never did when I was in high school. I don't know why, but it's kind of, I found it in a thrift store and I said, I should pick that up and read it now. This one is about a girl that moves into a new house, and the house used to be like a asylum, and there's ghosts that walk the hallways. There's like a handsome young guy. There's a bunch of spirits that are like trying to warn her. Yeah, it has to probably do something because it's a YA book, so ghosts tell her to do something and she has to save everyone. This next one, also excited to read. Picked this up specifically because Jordaline hauled it, but then she kind of said it was like okay, so I'm a little worried, but it sounds like something that I would actually really like. This one's called The October Boys by Adam Millard. This is about a group of kids who are trick-or-treating Halloween 1988, and they stop because of an ice cream truck that pulls in. The ice cream man ends up kidnapping one of the kids. So now flash forward to October 2016. The remainder of the friends kind of come back to where it all began, and they feel like something that's spooky, like something's happening. The ice cream man returns. The last line in the back of the book, the ice cream man is back and he's come for the ones that got away. This could either be really good or like I almost want it to be like a B horror movie, but the artwork is so well done on it. I'm actually anticipating like a good thriller. This next one, I think this was an older one as well, but I have wanted to read this one in the past. This one's called 10 by Gretchen McNeil. Plot is very similar to a lot of stories we've seen before, but I'm interested to see what she does with it. Basically, a group of teens are on this island, exclusive house party on this island, and there's like a storm raging outside. They have no phone, no electricity, no internet. Ferry can't return for days. You know, the classic, you're on a secluded island, what could go wrong? And people start to die on this island, all these like teenagers, and the people left on the island start to turn on each other. The one, I guess our main girl is gonna try to figure out who the killer is. This next one goes outside of my horror genre. I got fantasy, and I asked my boyfriend for this for Christmas, and I'm actually really excited about this, but I'm definitely gonna need a second opinion. So I got the Six of Crows duology. That's just the box that came in. Here is the Six of Crows. Here is Crooked Kingdom. The only thing is, I'm understanding that there's a trilogy, the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Which comes first? You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think I should do? Should I read Six of Crows first and then read the Shadow and Bone trilogy, or do I read Shadow and Bone first and then this? Like, how does it work? Because I would like to read this, but I'm not sure if I should pick up the other 3 books first and just like read them that way. I don't know, but I also don't want to pick up the other ones if I'm not gonna like this. But then I don't know. It's like a whole thing, guys. I'm the kind of person that I want the whole series before I read it, and then if I don't like it, then I'm doomed. Okay, last book. Wow, we did it. This is after like 3 battery changes and the sun has fully gone down. The Taking of Jake Livingston. This is a YA. So this book I definitely wanted to like go into detail because there's a lot going on in this book that I think makes it so interesting, unique. In this book, he's a medium. While that's going on, he lives in like a pretty diverse, the working class neighborhood, so he's pretty, I would say, accepted there. But then at high school, he's one of the only black teenagers in the high school, so he deals with like racist peers, racist teachers. The topic of racism is definitely prevalent in this book. His neighbor's murdered, and his neighbor was a survivor of this school shooting that happened like years ago, and the initials of the school shooter were written on this neighbor's wall. Jake sees the school shooter in the living as a medium, and the school shooters kind of starts to stalk him through his like high school experience. He has to not only navigate racism, but a school shooter probably trying to possess him. And I think that will isolate him from his peers even more, and like conversations will be had in such gripping, timely, and utterly unapologetic. This one I'm absolutely excited to read. I have really, really high expectations for. I like that this also, something that I love about horror. Horror is like a medium for like anxieties in our world and like things happening. A lot of like horror is metaphors for stuff that is going on. So the fact that this like outrightly tackles so many important things, that's yes. Thank you so much for watching this video and getting through it with me. If you want to support me, you can just be here. That really supports me, makes me happy. I love making videos for you guys. You can follow me on Goodreads, you can follow me on Instagram. I have a blog on Tumblr called Gift Shop of Curiosities where I post really weird, creepy things. If you'd like to support my channel further, you can order from Wick Candles. I do make a commission. You can check out my Amazon wishlist and sponsor a video by buying me a book. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all the regular YouTube things. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all. Have a good day.